Hey everybody, this is Walt,
This is Max.
and you are listening to the ABCs of rock and metal.
We are Useless Info Inc., and we call it Anti-Seminole.
Anti-Seminole.
And today we are on the L's, and there's only one L. Well, it's called Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
And we're doing 1976, the album Presence. Presence.
Presence?
So, Walt, give us some background on this particular album.
Well, it's the band's seventh studio album, released, like you said, in March 1976 on Swan Song Records, their own label. Produced by Jimmy Page. Recorded at Musicland Studios in Munich, Germany. We know the lineup, of course. I don't think I have to get into that.
Yeah.
Right? The band went into the studio to record this record shortly after Robert Plant was in a car crash.
Yeah.
And they couldn't tour. Mm-hmm. So they basically ran into the studio, booked some time, and kind of banged this record out. Mm-hmm. They recorded it in something like a few weeks, like 16 days.
I got 18 days.
18 days.
Which was the shortest since their first album.
Since the first album, since the debut, yeah.
And
quick turnaround.
Do you know why they couldn't record longer than that? Another band had it booked.
The Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page bargained with them, though.
Yeah, well, can you imagine your Led Zeppelin? Any other band you could just kick out.
Right. But
Rolling
not
Stones,
the Rolling
you can't.
Stones.
No. Yeah.
They were going to record Black and Blue.
Okay, yeah.
It came out a year after this.
Yeah.
So Jimmy Page bargained with the guys in the Stones and said, can I get 2 year days?
Yeah.
So he could basically finish the record off.
I'd love to hear that conversation.
Yeah, I know, right? Can you imagine that?
Him and Keith Richards.
Come on, mate.
They're both drunk and high as fuck, of course. Yeah.
He probably just gave him a mountain of cocaine and said, come on, 2 days. That's 2 days worth.
Yeah.
Technically, a lot of people think it's their last album.
Right, okay, because, okay.
Because next you had In Through the Outdoor.
Yeah.
Which kind of felt like filler tracks. And then there's Coda, which is
That
unreleased
was just,
material.
Yeah.
They did the same thing previously with Physical Graffiti. There's only 8 original songs, and there's a lot of other unused tracks.
Yeah.
So a lot of people consider this to be their last real studio album.
Okay.
Because Into the Outdoor is basically a Robert Plant solo album.
It's Plant and John Paul Jones.
And John Paul Jones.
Yeah, they're the ones.
But everybody says it's Robert Plant's record.
From what I understand, there's a lot of John Paul Jones in there because of the keyboards thing.
Yeah.
That's why that. Yeah.
Right.
And this one, interestingly, is mostly Robert Plant and Jimmy Page.
Yeah, John Paul Jones felt left out of it, and that's why it's not his favorite record. Jimmy Page argues that it's their best, because it's mostly him.
It's mostly him, and he did a lot of work on it in the producing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
From what I understand, it was
and
like after the car crash, he was recuperating in Malibu.
Right.
In probably some fancy house. And Page came by, just, they hung out, whatever.
Right,
and
they started up.
They wrote this together.
Right.
Essentially. And then they called the band in, and then they went to Munich and recorded it.
And they didn't get there till about a month later.
Something like that, yeah.
To Munich.
So it didn't have much involvement from the rest of the band.
And Bonzo was already starting to act up with his drinking.
Yeah.
He was already having crazy episodes.
Exactly, yeah.
So they were in kind of turmoil when they made this record. And once again, they couldn't tour on it because Plant was in no shape to tour. So they kind of hoped that the album would just take off.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page had said, well, if that's the case and we don't tour anymore, we'll just make records. That'll be fine. Mm-hmm. We'll just be a studio band for a while. Because of the hardship, quote unquote, of being on the road.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if a lot of these guys are getting drugged up and, drunk all the time, drinking, you can see where the hardship comes in.
They were burned out, yeah.
They were getting to that point. I mean, from when they started out in the 60s to now, we're talking about 76. Mm-hmm. It's a long run.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump into it, man.
Okay. All right. So first up, we have Achilles' Last Stand right here.
Which was originally going to be called the Wheelchair Song.
Yeah, so why is that?
Because Robert Plant was in a wheelchair. He recorded his vocals in a wheelchair.
A little bit more, I heard about that, but we'll get into it. First, let's hear some of this.
Such a groove.
Yeah, now, I heard that John Paul Jones was playing a 8-string bass on this.
That's correct.
So, explain to us, Walt, why would you, what benefits would you get from using an 8-string bass as opposed to a standard 4-string?
It's got more strings.
Okay, but
you can
do you care to expand upon that?
You can get deeper sound, different tones.
There's a bigger range, right?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can get deeper sounds, warmer tones depending on how you're using it.
Exactly. That was your answer, basically.
Exactly. I said more strings. 4 is good, 8's better, right? which is where I wouldn't even know what to do with 8 strings.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Well, then you had, Jimmy Page with the double neck guitar and stuff, but that was different. I mean, if you're playing a bass, there were also like 12-string guitars and basses and stuff like this where you can play a 12-string bass. I don't even know how the hell you would approach that, personally.
Well, at least with a 12-string guitar, you've just got doubling of the notes.
Yeah,
right? So
right.
It's basically, yeah.
But there's nuances to it, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
Plucking, strumming, technique.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is classic bombastic Zeppelin right out the box.
Yeah.
I mean, I say classic now because we've lived with this album for how long, since we were kids.
Pretty long, yeah.
So, but at the time, it was a little bit of a departure in their sound,
This song?
production-wise. The whole record, production-wise.
Right, there's a lot of overdub guitar on this one.
Right.
Yeah, it's like he added them in layers as the song goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were using state-of-the-art equipment in Munich
Yeah.
at Musicland Studios. And that's why Page wanted to go there.
Right.
He was another tech head. From when the band started, he was all about, recording technology.
Yeah.
So, but just a great bombastic track.
Yeah, the driving rhythm is really good.
Yeah.
Really carries you through it.
Yeah, you can see speeding down the highway,
Yeah.
blasting this,
Yeah.
There's trees whip by you and the whole thing, and you hit pedestrians. Knocking them off the road.
So this song is 10 minutes long.
It's their second longest song.
After In My Time of Dying, right?
In My Time of Dying is the
It
first.
doesn't sound like it's 10 minutes.
Right. In My Time of Dying feels long.
It does, yeah.
It's
yeah.
This doesn't feel as opus-ish, I should
Right,
say, if that's
yeah.
even a fucking word. In My Time of Dying,
Opesque, yeah.
Opesque. In My Time of Dying it's also a reworking of a gospel song.
Right, yeah.
So they really went to church on that.
Yeah.
But this feels more like I said, I could almost see this in a film, the way it sounds to me.
Yeah. Let's talk about the lyrics a little bit.
Go for it.
So obviously, Achilles' Last Stand is a reference to the Iliad,
Right.
And all the events thereof, which I'm not going to recount for you, just with the Cliff Notes version. But so you get these references to kind of like sailing out and on a journey, which can, that can be like the Greeks going to Troy,
Right.
But there are also references to Plant and Page on their trip through Morocco.
That's right.
There's a reference to the Atlas, right? The mighty arms of Atlas. It's of course Atlas from Greek mythology, but also the Atlas Mountains in Morocco, right?
Double entendre.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, it's kind of mock heroic because, as we mentioned, Plant had been in an accident, and at this point, he was in a wheelchair with a broken ankle.
Achilles' heel.
Achilles' heel, exactly. So it's kind of him seeing himself as Achilles,
Right.
as having had been brought low
Right.
by this accident. So it's got these different things going on, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like a metaphor for what was happening with the band, too.
Exactly, yeah. The heroes and, yeah.
They were rock gods for a second,
Yeah.
And right now, they're kind of dealing with this turmoil within.
Absolutely.
And they always delve into the mythological and what have you anyway, as metaphor.
Okay, so next up we have For Your Life. Yeah.
That classic Jimmy Page sound.
It's got a serious descend on the slide guitar.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's kind of
There you go, right there.
Yeah, I like that. It's a brooding riff.
Yeah.
Kind of sets you up for something kind of bluesy, right?
Like their earlier work.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have made the comparison with this record to the earlier stuff.
Okay.
Like off
In what
1, 2, and
respect?
3.
Okay.
Yeah. That it was a return to form.
Well, this is the only album that has no keyboards on it.
And no acoustic guitar.
On
Very
one.
little, right.
On one that's kind of there in the background, but very, very little. Yeah.
Which track is that?
Oh, God, I have it in my notes. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
But yeah, there's
When we
one,
get to it,
yeah,
all
there's
right.
one where you can hear. It's even hard to hear.
Right.
It's not like it's, it's forming on its own. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So this is, it could be their most straight out rock album. It's
Yeah.
kind of interesting,
Yeah.
at this point in their careers.
Right.
And then the one after this was their most like straight out not rock album.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Carousel Alhambra.
Yeah, right. Keyboard laden.
But this one is solid.
Absolutely.
And you hear frequently in John Paul Jones's work, he would do his own kind of melodic things on bass.
Right.
On this album, he's doubling the guitar a lot.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's because he didn't have the time to really just kind of compose something on his own. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have that involvement.
I think you're right with that, and I also
Yeah.
think that when he was in studio, if I remember correctly, that
Yeah.
he was saying that he couldn't really catch what Page was doing at points.
Oh, really?
For whatever reason, he couldn't dial in to kind of do what he wanted to do under what Page was doing.
Okay.
So he had a little bit of a problem with that. And I think that's why he ultimately does not like the album as much.
He wasn't in it.
No.
He was
Yeah.
disconnected from it, and which makes sense. You know,
Right.
if you're not feeling like you're a big part of it, well, why would you like it?
Especially
Sure.
when they started off as such a unit.
Yeah.
So it was obvious that as time went on, you know, certain bonds were formed.
Yeah.
It kind of clicked off a little bit, you know. So, and sadly, it's always the bass player that gets the shit end of the stick.
Of course,
you know?
yeah.
And John Paul Jones is no shit end of the stick guy.
No.
You know, he's an amazing player,
Yeah.
amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
You know, just a dynamo.
Yeah.
But I can see why he was probably like, oh, fuck you guys, man.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Uh-huh.
You couldn't have called me sooner? And he has said that he remembers when Robert Plant was in the wheelchair, that there were times where he wasn't even in the studio with them.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he was wheeling Robert Plant around and taking him from beer stand to beer stand and
God.
having fun with him. He
Yeah.
said we had a laugh in the whole thing, but he was like, I spent the whole day learning about baseball in the studio watching TV because there wasn't anything for me to do.
Oh, so he learned about baseball?
He learned about baseball. Go figure, right? Well, this is why the Yanks love it.
It's interesting, the production, the vocals are really kind of held back. They're kind of very muddy. Like overall,
this song?
on this whole album, I kind of feel like.
Really?
There's something about, even the guitar solos. It's almost like it's deliberately sort of swampy, muddy.
Really?
It feels like a deliberate effect to me.
I've never really gotten it.
Really?
If anything, I kind of thought the opposite.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I
Okay,
feel like
huh.
the production on this is a little bit more sheen than previous albums
Huh.
for Presence,
Okay.
in my mind, especially Achilles. Now, I could see that with For Your Life. And also, I feel
Okay.
like the vocals on For Your Life kind of lend to what Plant was going to be doing with his solo career.
Really?
Just,
You think so?
just something about the way he's delivering his
Huh.
vocals and his lines. Something just makes me think about what he did a little bit later on.
Really?
For whatever reason, I don't know if it's a personal thing or what, but there are certain times where I kind of get that.
I don't get that so much on this album.
Really?
Yeah,
And there's
I mean-
a couple of songs
Okay.
on this album where I kind of go, it reminds me of that a little bit.
Okay.
Like he was kind of thinking about, well, if I'm getting a little bit older and my voice is going to change as well,
Huh.
here's what I can do with my new, modern, mature
Okay.
voice.
Okay.
You know what I
okay,
mean?
You're looking at some vocal effects that I am not as capable of discerning. But okay,
Well, I mean,
got
if you get to the simplicity of it, he's not
Yeah.
screeching as much. There
Sure,
aren't as
okay.
many of those real
I got you now. Okay,
blow your head off high notes.
exactly. Okay, that does make sense.
Yeah. And this is the only. Yeah, go ahead.
This one seems like an attack on the LA lifestyle.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. I'll
Like-
get there with
like
the-
lyrically, you know.
Right. Cocaine.
Yeah,
Come on,
exactly. All right, so let's do this one. Royal Orleans. Yep. A lot of groove.
Oh yeah.
A lot of groove in this one. Yeah.
Reminds me a little bit of some of the stuff off Houses of the Holy.
The crunge, maybe.
The grunge. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, there's a major funk vibe going on.
Yeah.
But if you compare these two songs, this one with a crunch,
If I compared them,
yeah,
like I said, they're similar in groove. Do you mean which one do I like better?
yes, that's what I'm
I'd
asking.
have to go the crunge.
Really?
I'd have to go the crunge. I like this a lot, but the
Okay.
crunge has just that little extra something for me.
That one, I felt like they were trying a little bit too hard to be James Brown.
Okay.
Whereas this one feels more like they are still Led Zeppelin, but they're doing funk as Led Zeppelin.
Their interpretation of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's kind of why I'm a little bit more behind this one.
Maybe that's why I like the crunge, because it's going for more of a James Brown thing.
Sure,
you know?
yeah. But we have to talk about
But
how...
this is still solid as
It's
hell.
good, yeah.
That's why I hate picking between the two. But
Yeah,
if
it's just
you were
like-
at a jukebox and you only had 3 songs to pick by Zapp,
Okay, and
Royal
this-
Orleans or the
Okay.
Crunge, I'd pick the Crunge.
What's the third song?
You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah,
You
right.
said 3 songs.
Right. So I missed the number. Whatever. I'm drinking.
Don't make me count.
All right. Look. All right. The Crunge,
Yes.
Royal Orleans,
Yes.
or let me think. What is another great funky one that they've done?
Okay. Meanwhile, I'm just going to groove out to this. My buns are moving, people.
And I'm moving
You
away
don't wanna,
from
you
the
don't want to
buns.
see this, but you can feel it, can't you?
I'm in the next room. Anyway, so I can't think of a third one, but I would
Okay.
pick. Yeah,
You pick the crunch.
I would go for the
I'd
crunge
pick this
first.
one.
Yeah. Okay.
We got to talk about how John Paul Jones and John Bonham were an incredibly funky, groovy rhythm section,
Oh yeah.
which was rare for hard rock.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But John Paul Jones, he played with a lot of session players. He did
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff.
Right.
He was just steeped in this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Page could whip it out too. I mean, listen to that guitar. You know?
Yeah, yeah. But I think they're the fundament. They were like the foundation or something. Yeah, if you want to.
They were the ass cheeks.
They were the ass cheeks.
grooving ass
They were the
cheeks.
ass cheeks of the groove.
The
yeah.
shaking ass cheeks.
That's why they say Zeppelin is one of the few hard rock bands that you can actually dance to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they had it going on.
No, absolutely.
This was the only song in this album to be credited to all four.
To all four members, yeah.
So you want to talk about what the song's about?
And that's the first one. The first time that happened on an album.
Ever?
Yeah, I think so.
Wait, are you sure?
I'm positive.
Really?
Where all four members were... I mean, hang on. I retract that.
Okay.
This is the only album where all four members weren't credited.
Right.
On at least one song or two songs or three songs. This is the only time it was one song.
Okay.
This is
okay.
the only album
Okay.
where all four are credited for just one
For just one song.
Just
okay.
one song.
Now I got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it backwards in the beginning.
So, lyrically, Walt,
Tell
what's
me.
it about?
Talk to me.
So, the story is that John Paul Jones had met a drag queen in a hotel in New Orleans in 1973, and that he mistook the drag queen for a woman. That's kind of where the lyrics go. Now, his story is that he knew that the individual was a drag queen.
Okay, so that can go one of two ways still.
But the individual was in his hotel room, and he did light it on fire with a cigarette.
The drag queen or John
He
Paul
did,
Jones?
John Paul Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think's gonna?
Yeah, you know what? That one
Yeah.
got under my radar, that story.
Yeah. It's one of those notorious Led Zeppelin stories. I mean, there's like 100 of them.
Kind
right?
of like the shark beating. With
That's
yeah.
what that's what I was gonna mention next. Yeah, it's
With the groupies and-
with that kind of band, you know, you're gonna accumulate these stories. Sometimes you're gonna write a song about it.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
Why not?
I could see, also, like I said, they were doing so many drugs and drinking at the time
Yeah.
that he missed that Adam's apple for whatever reason, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
That's what they say. Okay, we ready to move on?
Yep.
All right. Next up, Nobody's Fault But Mine.
Story of my life.
We can all relate, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is a triple-tracked guitar intro.
Yep.
Right, a lot of overdubs on this album in general.
It's great.
Yeah.
And this is a song that opened side 2.
Yeah, exactly.
On the
yeah,
LP.
Yeah. Back when we in the Stone Age, when we had LPs.
These
Yeah.
circular things that you would put on a record player.
Big black waxy discs.
Whoa.
I
Whoa.
almost
Whoa.
tripped up.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh. I was
If I'd
waiting
been
for
in
it.
one more beer, that would have been, we'd have to cut that one out. But thankfully, you dodged a bullet. All right. But yeah, takes his time on this one, right?
Yeah.
Lets that play out. Yeah. And then, now it's still
Another
going
great
on.
intro.
Yeah, now, Plant. Yeah.
Played, yeah.
Yeah. This
Underneath.
is classic Plant vocalization with a guitar line, right?
In Zeppelin, too, yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Page did this all the time,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
live, and
Yeah.
where they would have the back and forth, the call and response.
Yeah.
But here he is just backing up the guitars
Yep.
with his melody,
Yep.
mimicking the guitar,
Yeah.
mimicking the
It's
notes.
intense.
And then Bonzo kicks in
Yeah.
and takes your head off.
Uh-huh. Now, this is based on an older song, right?
Right.
You got that one?
That one, which I was going to say, it's oh my God, I'm blanking out on that.
Glenn
one.
Willie Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Nobody's Fault But Mine.
Right.
Yeah, the original focused on more of a religious despair,
Right.
but this is Plant's song. This is him not in a good place
Right.
now, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of the thematic through line through this album.
Yeah. It's the thread.
He wasn't happy. I mean, he
No.
was in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
The other key thing is he was away from his family.
Right.
Because his wife and kids, they were back in London,
Right.
and she had been done in serious in that car crash.
Yeah, I know,
So
yeah.
she nearly lost her life.
Yeah, she almost died.
She's recuperating in London.
Yeah.
And he couldn't go there because he was in, I love this term, tax exile.
Right, yeah.
Which basically
That's right.
means that you're making so much money that you don't want to pay your taxes.
So you go on the run.
So yeah, exactly.
You go
yeah,
on the
yeah,
lam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock star problems.
I know, right?
But he was genuinely hurting.
Yeah.
So this is where it's coming from. It's like he feels like he fucked up.
And he didn't know where the band was going. He
Yeah.
didn't know if he wanted to
Yeah.
be in the band anymore.
Uh-huh.
He was
Yeah, yeah.
considering that.
Yeah.
So you can see why his lyrics took that dark turn.
Yeah.
Nothing like physical pain, too, to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
you
to
write
really-
lyrics like
to
this,
make you
too.
feel it. Yeah.
And like you said, with the angst and the the hurt over his wife and family in that car crash.
Yeah.
You know, and some friends too.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, rock stars and sports cars and drinking drugs, they don't mix.
Imagine that.
You know, right?
Oh, imagine.
How many of these motherfuckers are cracked up, you know?
Took repeated scientific studies to establish that fact, yeah. Now, there's some Robert playing harmonica work.
Yeah.
Now, name some of the other songs where he's done harmonica stuff.
Oh, I mean, you talk about almost everything on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
there's so much harp on those 3 albums alone. I mean, 4 as well. You know, Levee Breaks.
Levee Breaks,
you know, There's so much.
He didn't do it all the time, but every now and then, especially with a really bluesy number like this one.
Yeah.
And he kicks it.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to him.
Yeah.
He's wailing. He's feeling that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great on harp, you know.
He was underrated for this work.
Yeah. It was great to see him live when he would do it, too, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I never actually got to see them live, unfortunately, but when you see live footage, it's like, look at the motherfucker go.
Yeah.
Makes
absolutely.
it look easy.
Okay, we're going to move on?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let me wind this up here. Dealing with highly advanced technology, and boom, this is Candy Store Rock. This one's kind of different.
Yeah, it's almost like a 50s-ish
Kind of
rockabilly song, yeah. Well, I mean, they were influenced by Elvis.
You kind of feel like he's doing a little Elvis here?
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
baby,
yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
You know?
The rhythms on this one are intense.
Yeah.
And try to count it.
Right.
Try to, like right now.
You mean give
Count.
me a count for it?
Yeah.
It's like
It's not.
It's like 4 or 5. 4 or 5.
It's not quite 4/4, right?
Right. It's not 4 or 4. It's like 5.
Is
It's
it
probably
5?
5. I think it's 5.
No, try 5. It's hard to count 5.
No, you can't follow it. You just got to count.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5.
It's 5?
5.
Okay. Now count.
5.
Okay.
You get it? You can't actually follow what they're
it's
doing.
tough,
You
it's
got to
tough.
count.
Yeah,
You just got to count.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, yeah. But it's complex,
It's
right?
not 4. It's not 4/4.
It's not 4/4, definitely. No. And they did this a lot. They were experts in really highly intricate rhythm work.
Yeah, and they turn it
You
backwards.
know,
They turn it
their
forward.
meters, they just,
Yeah.
they were just had it on.
They turn it upside down.
Let's just stop for a moment and just say they were an incredible band.
Oh, yeah.
Like technically, musically.
Yeah, and a lot of people
You know?
don't give them credit for that. I mean,
I
some
don't
people
see it,
do.
yeah.
Big
I don't get
fans
that.
do.
Yeah.
But some other people don't. I mean, especially around the time
Okay.
when they were big, they didn't get as much credit for being as good as they were. They were considered a stadium act, cock rock, you know.
Which they were.
Yeah.
Let's be
right.
fair.
They put all of that
But-
in there. But how else were you going to sell it at the time if you're a raucous rock band? You got to sell it, cock
Yeah,
out.
and why not have both if you can?
Right.
You know, like,
Right.
why not have the party thing, but actually be really skilled, interesting musicians?
Right.
Yeah.
And they did experiment. They
They
didn't just
absolutely did.
stay with their sound starting off bluesy, heavy metal rock-ish.
Right, yeah.
They kind of started to branch out.
They did acoustic. They
Yeah.
did a reggae song.
Yeah, I know. Who
Not the
would've-
best reggae song, but hey, they tried.
Right.
They tried it
I
out.
still dig it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right.
It is fun.
It's
yeah.
not true raga, but
Yeah.
it's all right.
It's not raga.
Right.
It's a raga, right?
Raga? Raga? You don't want to go raga on it.
All right, ready to move on? Okay, we are hots on for nowhere now. Hopefully coming up on here. There we go. Yeah. Heavy groove.
Yep.
Heavy groove. Yeah.
I like the opening of this a lot.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
We'll get into the rest of it a little bit later, but look at that shot.
Yeah.
Now, we're looking at a picture of Page and Plant back in the day in their fucking bell-bottoms and shit. Those
It's
are
awesome.
some damn
Yeah.
bell-bottoms, man. You can hide a lot of drugs in them pants. And those high-heel shoes. That's
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah.
But this is almost doo-woppy
It is,
at
right?
points.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You get
It's
a
got
little
that going
doo-wop
on.
kind of feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The solo right here is good. Is this solo? No, not
No,
quite.
no,
It's
no.
more like a little bridge thing. Yeah.
But-
There's a good solo, though.
But Bonzo's drums, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the pauses.
Yeah. But they're tight.
Yeah.
They come in
Yeah.
the right moments, yeah.
He literally misses like 2 beats and then comes right back in. you know?
Yeah.
He counts to 2 and then right back in.
Yeah. He just lets it spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just holding it down.
He knew when to slam it and when to hold back.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
That's key in a drummer, right?
Yeah, that's why he's a legend.
Yeah,
that's why he's a legend.
Yeah.
Also, people couldn't figure out how the hell is he hitting the drums like that? How the hell is he hitting them so hard?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and not busting something.
Yeah.
He's probably busting his pants. John Bonham, man, is an animal.
Yeah.
To this day.
Yeah, you got it good here. Yeah.
You gotta love it.
Yeah. Keeps it slamming. Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not a big fan of too much cymbal work in certain songs, certain rock songs.
Uh-huh.
It just feels like you're kind of relying on them.
Yeah.
But there it doesn't feel like that to me. There's a lot of cymbal work going on too, but it doesn't feel like it's too much.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last song of the album. And it's a short album, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, only 7 songs, but some of them are quite long. And this is T for One. Now, this does not give you any hint of what the song actually is.
A lot of their titles don't.
Well, no, I mean,
Zeppelin
this little bit here, the instrumental.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's the whole
yeah.
intro is different.
Yeah.
Completely different than the rest of the song.
Yeah.
And when it switches, it's like, well, how did you do that?
Yeah. What happened? What was I listening to?
There we go.
Yeah.
Just slows down this bluesy dirge.
It's just, So they had a few really slow, traditional blues songs in their career, right? So I'm thinking of You Shook Me.
Since I've Been Loving You.
I Can't Quit You, Baby.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
12/8, 12-bar blues, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, 12 bar,
Yeah.
This harkens back, though, to, like I said, the first couple of records.
Yeah.
The first few
absolutely.
records.
Yeah.
And at first, I remember when I heard it for the very first time when I was younger, I thought it was a leftover.
Yeah, okay.
But they just kind of slotted right back into that feel on this song.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like they recorded it back in the day. You understand what I mean? The vocals, everything sounds like it was Zeppelin 2.
I can a little bit, but I feel like there's an evolution that I hear in this song.
Okay, and
I feel like if you listen to those 4 songs back to back, there is... I'm going to try to put this into terms that I can articulate because, I'm not good at describing musical stuff. So why am I doing this podcast? I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing it. In the earlier blues ones, they were heavily riff-based.
Okay.
Guitar riff-based. Traditional, bluesy, guitar riff-based. This one is not so much. There are riffs that repeat through the song, but they are subtly applied. There's a lot of guitar soundscaping in a blues idiom. You can hear it right here.
Okay.
You hear this going on?
Right.
Like it's not like You Shook Me. It's like da-da-da-da. That kind of traditional sort of blues thing where the guitar really carries you through the song. Especially if it's slow, you got to do that.
Right.
He's not doing this here. It's much more atmospheric, is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's carried more by the bass line.
Okay.
That's more solid and recurrent. But except on the turnaround. On the turnaround, he does the same thing on every turnaround in here, right?
Right.
Yeah, guitar-wise.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
So I feel like it's fundamentally, in that sense, different from the other ones. And I think they could have only done that at this point because Jimmy Page had evolved musically and had more confidence in himself and in his expressiveness as a guitarist.
You think it took him this long to get there? He had that shit from the beginning in
my
mind.
No. Not his ability to do this, but his confidence in just letting these really spare, atmospheric melodies occupy the song and carry the song.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I've gotten that from other stuff, the early stuff as well. I mean, when you hear them perform it live, there was a lot more going on guitar-wise. With some of the early work.
Live, it's a different story.
Yeah, because there would be a lot more going on.
They would extend everything into a 20-minute jam.
Right.
Yes.
Right, so
yes,
you'd have everything with the bow comes out. And,
right, yeah.
But like I said, for me, this song still kind of brings me back to, and I feel it still has the same dynamics going on as, say, Zeppelin 2.
In many ways.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Maybe you're...
Yeah.
I see what you're saying about the spaciousness, maybe, that there's more room and he's letting other sounds come through. Is that what you're trying to express?
I love the screeching guitar here.
Right.
The guitar gives out howls of pain.
Right.
I'm talking about the guitar coloration, if that's a word.
If it ain't, you made it up.
Which is more like what he did on, say, the Rain Song, or even
all right, so I
even
kind
No
of get what
Quarter.
you're saying. Yeah,
I feel
so
like
you're saying that he's taken from where he started, his influences, and what they did with Zeppelin in the early albums.
Yes.
And then amalgamated a little bit with the later records.
Right.
To kind of put this bluesy track together.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I can see that.
Yeah. And we should mention that this one is reflecting Robert Plant's melancholy at being separated from his family, right?
Right. T for one.
T for one.
Yeah.
He's alone.
Yeah.
Not that there's not any groupies there or anything, but
right. I'm sure he was, really upset about.
But he was missing his family. Yeah.
He was still getting blowjobs in that wheelchair. Don't even act like he wasn't.
For me, this is one of their most underrated tracks.
I think so too.
This is one, like, when I first heard it, it's like, okay, whatever. But it took me a while to really, really understand what he was doing on this. I think that's another reason why I mentioned that thing earlier.
Okay.
So I feel like it's a more sort of intellectually involving track than the earlier blues numbers, which, like, right away you're like, okay, yeah, I'm there. I'm feeling it.
Okay.
This one, it took repeated listenings for me anyway.
Really?
To really, really feel it.
See, it's funny for me because, like I said, whenever I listen to this album, I always forget that it's a short album.
Yeah.
And then this comes on, and I'm like, oh, fuck, that's the last song.
Yeah.
This song kind of brings me back, like, okay, now I'm putting on Zeppelin too.
Really?
It makes me do that. It makes me feel like I want to go back around and start listening from the beginning again, almost.
Funny.
It does that to me. Because the other tracks on this album are a little experimental, like we had talked about.
Okay.
You know? I mean, you have Royal Orleans, you know? And Candy Shop Rock, Candy Store Rock, and Hots for Nowhere. Those are a little different. And then here we go back to the classic kind of Zepp sound.
To me, this one is also experimental.
Okay.
Experimental in their slow blues, 12-bar blues kind of format, but experimenting within that format.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
All right.
When I put this one on, I put on House of the Holy next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you still go back one, though?
Yeah, I still do go back.
You still go back?
Yeah. I
go
do.
back too?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You know, feel how you feel, man. Feel yourself. Go ahead, feel yourself.
No.
I feel myself all the time.
Well, yeah, obviously.
It's good, yeah.
Just
right.
not right now, please. If you wouldn't mind. Okay, so where are we now? We album cover? Describe it, please.
It's great. I think it's one of the coolest album covers that they put out, to be honest with you. It's right up there for me.
Okay, what do you like about it?
The weird obelisk.
Yeah.
Which is basically called the object.
Yeah.
And it's in every photo on the Gatefold album. Mm-hmm. Once again, Hypnosis designed the album cover.
Classic.
They also did Houses of the Holy. So, but this one, I think they did something really unique.
Okay.
You know, and it's this weird obelisk in these different photos, these old-timey photos.
Yeah.
In different aspects of different people's lives.
Okay.
It's just kind of weird and strange. It's almost like 2001.
Okay.
Like the monolith showing up. So I wonder if they were influenced by that.
Maybe.
With having this weird thing.
Yeah.
You got these people sitting around a dinner table on the album cover, and the obelisk is just sitting there in the center of the table.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking at it with these dumb grins on their faces. They're just kind of staring at it, looking like they're in bliss around this thing, just being around this dumb thing. The back of the album has a school teacher who has one hand on the obelisk and one hand on the head of a student.
Okay.
She's sitting behind a desk. The kid's sitting at the desk in front of her. She's got her hand on his head. He's got his hand on the obelisk.
Okay.
It's fucking weird.
All these images, they look like some stills from a movie that I want to see.
Right.
Because it just has this feeling of all these normal-looking, everyday people have joined some weird cult.
Yeah, right.
That involves worshiping or receiving communications through this weird, dark thing from some other universe or dimension.
Other dimension.
Yeah.
Like you got this really couple on the inside. They're at the pool or whatever, at the beach.
Yeah.
And the thing is just sitting there.
Yeah.
You got these cops coming into a building. The thing's sitting in the doorway.
Uh-huh.
There's this woman sitting in a field of daisies, and she's holding it.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird. Pretty wild.
Does it match what you hear on the album musically?
No.
Not really.
No, it's more...
It's just kind of like just a cool thing.
Yeah, it's very artsy.
Yeah, it is.
It's very artsy.
Yeah.
It's just cool. And they wanted to call the album Obelisk.
Yeah. Huh.
Hypnosis. They were pushing for that.
Okay.
I don't think it was the band or their management, but I think it was Hypnosis that they were saying, call it Obelisk. And Page was like, no.
I don't think so.
No, we're going with Presence.
Yeah.
because he felt like that summed up
Yeah. Okay.
the sound of the album for whatever reason, either working on it or the feel that he had while working on it. So I dig the album. I dig the album cover. The album cover, I think, is fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I don't think you'll ever see something like this again on an album.
No, it's
as a
unusual.
cover.
Yeah.
As an album cover, I don't know if you'll ever see something like this again. If you do, it's kind of copying or influenced by it. Mm-hmm. It's well done. I think it's well done artwork.
Okay. Cool.
And those guys cranked out some stuff, you know. I mean, they...
Hypnosis did. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Def Leppard,
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's so many other bands that they've designed album covers for. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. What are your feelings on it?
I like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the reasons that you just stated.
Peter Gabriel, they also work for AC/DC. Mm-hmm. Dirty Deeds done Dirt Cheap.
Yeah.
Bad Company. Straight Shooter, I believe, was the one that they designed for them. Black Sabbath, Technical Ecstasy.
Oh, God.
One of the album
Yeah.
covers that we don't
That was maybe
like.
not a good choice, but
Yeah, so ELO, Nazareth. Yeah, they worked with some major bands.
Yeah.
Some major bands. So,
Okay, it's time for.
gun to the head!
Yes, thank you. Okay, so what is your top song on this album?
Oh, man.
It's rough. I know it's very, very rough.
I hate this portion of the podcast. I really, this is always
I
tough
hate
for me.
my own podcast.
I
right
hate
now.
my podcast. I quit. I'm torn between Achilles' Last Stand. Everybody goes for Achilles' Last Stand.
Yeah.
And Nobody's Fault But Mine.
All right,
I'm going to go Nobody's Fault But Mine.
that's mine too.
Yes.
Yeah. It's an incredible song.
Yeah.
It's one of those where they take the blues, but they do something else with them.
Yeah.
And Led Zeppelin excelled at that.
And just that
Yeah.
stop, too, that pause.
Yeah.
Nobody's fault but
And
mine.
he's feeling it.
Yeah, he's
you
in
know,
it.
like he's
He's in it to win it, going for it.
yeah, he's
Like Lotto.
and he's feeling that despair too.
Yeah.
It's real.
Because you hear the voice almost break.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which he's so great at, but then he comes right back at you. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
So gun to the head the other way.
By the way,
It's hard for me to see losing a track on this, but I did think about this
yeah.
on
for
the
once.
way over.
For once.
Yeah, I know, right? You mean thinking in general or about this?
Shut Don't make me choose.
All right, I'm going to go Hots for Nowhere.
Okay.
Going
All
to
right.
go Hots for Nowhere.
Yeah.
Just because I do like the track a lot, but I could see that on another album
Okay.
for me. The way it gets doo-woppy and stuff, and the na-na-na-na-na-na-nas, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems a little happy,
Okay.
as opposed to lyrically the other songs we were talking about.
Right.
It's a little upbeat.
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, you know. So it seems a little upbeat for me, if I had to pick.
Yeah, I completely hear you on that. My choice would be between that one and Candy Store Rock. I'm going with Candy Store Rock for the reasons you gave, but in my kind of interpretation, lyrically, Hot's On for Nowhere is a little bleaker than the music suggests.
Okay.
Because it's for nowhere, and there's one line in here. Corner of Bleaker and Nowhere. And we know that intersection.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Candy Store Rock is just kind of straightforward, playful, metaphor, candy and sex and that kind of thing.
Right.
So if I had to lose, I kind of would go, despite the complex rhythms, which are really interesting to listen to. And
Right.
that's one I would choose.
Yeah, that one stayed for me just because of the 50s kind of sound to it.
Sure. Yeah,
You
no,
know.
I hear you. They're both
But I was thinking that,
weaker
too.
ones.
Yeah.
I do hear you on that one. Yeah.
Those are the two songs, and then you waiting to get to what's next, kind of.
Yeah.
And I remember, there have been times, I will admit, where you would skip one of the two if you're not in the mood for them.
Yeah.
You will kind of go, all right, what's
yeah.
up next? Okay, I'm going to hear that, right, instead of this one for right now.
Yeah, I tend to fast forward to T for one.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
That's another long song.
but worthy. Okay, so the reason we picked this one is Anti-Seminole. This was the record that sold the least during their career.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
While
was
they were
not,
still together,
yeah, it was not a fave. It was not a critical fave. It was not a listener fave. But I would say that there's a lot going on in this one.
Yeah.
This is also the last one that I bought.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually bought Coda before this one.
Wow.
Because Coda's always in the discount racks. You could pick it up
Right,
for like
right.
$4 back in the day, right?
Right, yeah,
But then
yeah,
finally I'm like,
yeah.
okay, well, I guess got to get presents because I need all of them. But then I'm like, whoa, wait, why don't people talk about this one?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
except for that one song. They don't
Right.
really talk about it so much.
So is Achilles' Last Stand.
Yeah.
that you always hear
Beyond
about.
that, but there's so much going on in this album.
I would always hear,
really strong.
on the radio, you would hear Nobody's Fault But Mine.
You would hear that one, yeah.
I think it was those two
But
that
that
you
was
would hear the
pretty
most.
much it.
Much later, when they broke up and Bonzo died, of course, then the album was like
Yeah,
triple
at
platinum.
that point, then it's like you're going to get all of them.
Yeah.
They went really big.
Critically, it didn't do so well.
No, not at all.
It didn't do so
Not
well
at all. Yeah.
But it did chart for whatever reason at the same time.
Well, they're all going to chart because it's
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make as much money as they hoped, but then it did eventually.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Right.
then it's triple platinum,
Yeah.
this and that and the other thing. I can't imagine what it is at now.
Who knows?
You know,
I mean,
all of
it's
their
whole
albums.
catalog.
Yeah, so we love this record.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a great
yeah,
record.
Yeah, so yeah, if you haven't put it on for a while, check it out.
Stop listening to 4 for a little while. Put on Presence for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, Stairway to Heaven can wait for a little bit.
Yeah.
Listen to Nobody's Fault But Mine.
Okay, cool. So what are we doing now? Are we moving on to the M's?
Are we?
Or what? You got anything else for L?
Hell, what else would we have for
I,
Al?
I don't think we could think of anything.
No, right?
Yeah,
Lizzie Borden.
maybe not.
Liza Minnelli.
That's still M.
Right. I was going by
Don't
L.
say Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park. You said not to say it. Yeah, so I guess we're moving on to M.
Is it going to be Megadeth first?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a lot of M's.
Yeah, there's gonna
right?
be at least
So,
four-
Yeah,
at least
so
4 M's.
Maybe
So-
Megadeth is the first one.
Megadeth.
Or you got an album for them?
You know what? I can't think of it right now. I'm going to have to
we'll
think
think
about this
it.
for a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah, But in any case, we'll be back with Megadeth.
Yeah, we'll come
Yeah.
back at you with Megadeth, a
Yeah.
Megadeth review.
Because we're coming back strong with Megadeth.
Megadeth.
Megadeth, yes. Okay.
Oh!
All right, so we are, as always, Useless Info Inc., and you can find Anti-Seminal and all of our other signature podcasts on WordPress and on the YouTube and on Google Play and on iTunes and on Pinecast, and we're on the Twitters and the Facebooks and all that other nonsense.
Yeah.
Yep, I am Max.
I'm Walt.
Next time.
Rock and roll!
What the fuck is the internet?